Hello, welcome back to Alex's Book Club. It's been a while since I last posted a video, and I have to say I have been in a bit of a reading slump, so that's why, but I am back and I'm ready to jump back in with some creative YouTube videos. I have been seeing some of my favorite YouTubers post about continuing series that they're in the middle of. So I decided to go through my Fable app and figure out all of the series that I am currently in the middle of. And I was actually really surprised to see that I am in the middle of 14 series. So in this video, I would like to quickly go over those with you and figure out which of those series I want to continue on in this video. I plan to pick one or two books from two different series and take you on my experience with those books, sharing all of my thoughts and feelings.
But first off, I want to share the 14 series that I'm currently in the middle of. The first series is the Women of War series. At the beginning of 2025, I read the first book in the series, The Midwife of Auschwitz. I absolutely love this book. It gave the unique perspective of what it was like for women who were pregnant in the concentration camps, as well as the professionals that were taking care of them. It was absolutely heart-wrenching, and probably why I haven't picked up the second book yet in the series, but definitely a great historical fiction series that I do plan to read in the future. Second is the Beartown series. This is a series by Frederick Bachman, and I read the first book in the series, Beartown. I was honestly hoping that this book would be a 5-star for me because I had seen it hyped up so much on YouTube, but I believe I gave it a 3.75 just because there were so many characters and perspectives to keep track of that it got confusing at times. But I definitely would like to continue on with the series. Series 3 is Part of Your World. This is by Abby Jimenez, and I have completed the first two books in the series, Part of Your World and Yours Truly, both of which were over 4 stars if I remember correctly. Just for the Summer, I definitely want to read, as well as the novella, The Situationship, but because Just for the Summer is in the summer, I want to save this for the summertime. Series 4 is the Say You'll Remember Me series, also by Abby Jimenez. This is her newest series, and I read Say You'll Remember Me last year and absolutely loved it. This is a long-distance romance, and there is Alzheimer's throughout the book, so it was a beautiful romance, but also very depressing. The new book, I believe, is coming out at the end of March, so you won't get to see me reading that in this vlog, but definitely I'll be picking it up once it comes out. Series 5 is the Dark Future series. This is a John Mars series, and I have completed the first book. It was definitely a unique genre for me to be reading. It had more of like a science fiction type feel, and I'm interested in reading the interconnected standalone series. So books 2 and 3 are definitely on my radar. Series number 6, the Boys of Tommen series. Talk about an absolutely heart-wrenching series. I have completed Shannon and Johnny's 2 books, Binding 13 and Keeping 13, and book 3 is up next for me to dive into. I wanted to make sure that I was in a good spot mentally before picking the next book up, Saving 6, and because all of these books are 600 to 700 pages, I want to make sure I have the time to dedicate to them as well. Series number 7, the Dream Harbor series. I know that this is a controversial series as to whether or not people actually like it. The first book is the well-known The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And I absolutely love this book and the second book in the series, The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. I went into it for the fall vibes, and that's exactly what I got. So maybe make sure your expectations are set accordingly. You're not going to have some deep, higher meaning behind this series. It's just a good, fun time. But because the next book in the series is Christmas themed, I will be waiting until next December to be picking this up. Series 8 is the Pumpkin Queen series. So if you're a big Disney fan like myself, you will know that this series focuses on Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I really enjoyed the first book in the series when I read it in October of 2025, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. And just like the previous series, I will be picking this up during the right time, which will be September, October of this year. Series number 9 is the Fitzpatrick Christmas series by Catherine Walsh. I read the first book in this interconnected standalone series, Holiday Romance, this Christmas, and I absolutely loved it. It was a 5-star for me, which I feel like is really hard to write a 5-star Christmas romance, but this definitely was it. It had a lot of similarities to The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, which I absolutely loved. But again, I will be picking up the next book in this series closer to Christmas time. Series 10, another Christmas series. I guess that says a lot about me as a reader. I love the Christmas reads. But this is the Under the Mistletoe series. This is a grouping of novellas. I read the first, Cruel Winter with You, and it was okay. I gave it a 3-star. It helped me meet my reading goals for 2025, but again, I won't even be considering continuing this on until Christmas time. Series number 11, the Heartstrings series. This series is by B.K. Borison, who is quickly becoming one of my new favorite romance authors. First Time Caller was the first book that I read in 2026, and it was one of the easiest 5 stars I've ever given. I absolutely love this, and I cannot wait for the second book in the series, And Now Back to You, to come out later in February. Series 12, the Skyland series by Kennedy Ryan. I read the first book in this series, Before I Let Go, in January, and I gave it a solid 4 stars. It was a beautiful second chance romance. Book number 2 in the series, this could be a strong contender for something I read in this vlog, because February is Black History Month, and Kennedy Ryan is a Black author and writes about Black characters, so this may be a really good choice for me, and I would love to dive into this interconnected standalone series and revisit some of the characters that I loved in the first book. Series 13, the Windy City series. This is an interconnected standalone series with different sports teams. I read Mile High, which focused on a hockey team, one of the star athletes from the hockey team falling in love with his flight attendant. I liked this book. It wasn't my favorite, but I've heard that the series gets better as it goes on. So book number 2, The Right Move, might be something I also want to consider in this reading vlog. And last but not least, the newest series that I just started, Series 14, the Bridgerton series. I felt major FOMO. I kept seeing the Bridgerton series being advertised on Netflix, and I decided I needed to figure out what all the hype was about. So I just currently finished The Duke and I really enjoyed it, minus a few toxic things that the main characters did to one another, but I can look past that because I loved the Regency vibes of this series and am excited to dive back into this rather long series.
All right, now that we have gone through all of the 14 series that I am currently in the middle of, I think I have made my decision on what my next book will be. The first book that I am choosing to read as part of this continuing my current series is This Could Be Us from the Skyland series by Kennedy Ryan. So come along with me over the next few days as I start to read this book, and I will give you my periodic thoughts and updates. It's the next day, and I'm here to give you an update. So far, I am absolutely loving this book. I know that I said I chose this in honor of Black History Month, but as I was reading the acknowledgments, I'm not sure if you could tell from the previous clip, but I got so emotional because there is also autistic representation. And if you know from some of my previous videos, this year I am prioritizing autistic reads, either with characters that have autism or the authors themselves that wrote the books have autism, because my daughter is on the spectrum. And Kennedy Ryan wrote about how there is autistic representation in this book because she has an autistic child, and I just felt so seen. And the prologue especially details the male main character's impact from autism with his two twin children, and the impact that that had on his relationship with his wife, or his now ex-wife. And all of this just hit so hard, and it feels like this book was truly meant to be for my first read in continuing series that I'm in the middle of. With that being said, I am about a third of the way through. I'm just starting part 2 now, and I can't remember the last time that I've been so into a book. I feel like I just keep reading it and eating it up. So I think I should be able to finish it either tonight or tomorrow. So within 24 to 36 hours after starting it, which is great. Definitely helping me get out of my reading slump. We are following two main characters. Our female main character is Soledad, or Soul, from the first book. She was Yasmin's good friend, one of the 3 best friend group. And she unfortunately is married to a horrible man who is doing some horrible things to her. And this book showcases what those are. We kind of get a glimpse of that in the first book in the series, but we are now seeing the extent of it and the impact it is going to have on Soledad and her 3 daughters. And then we're also following the male main character, Judah, who is recently divorced and has twin autistic children. And they have varying levels of autism. One is level 1, meaning he requires less supports, and the other is level 3, and he requires a lot more supports and is nonverbal. And in the acknowledgement section, I really appreciated the author describing the different levels and how a level 1 autistic person still faces many many issues and still requires accommodations, but often it feels like because they are so high functioning to the outside world that these accommodations are often not necessary. And this in particular really hit home because that's how I often feel with my daughter to the outside world. She may appear as neurotypical, but requires a lot of support. And it was just nice to see that someone else may have the same struggles. Judah, the MMC, is introduced into the story in a unique way and has a role in showing Soledad, her soon-to-be ex-husband Edward's true colors. I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to spoil that reveal to you, but the two are introduced and have like a flirty interaction, and then are introduced again once Edward's true colors are revealed. So I think their relationship is probably going to morph into more, but we shall see. But like I said, I'm a third of the way through. I don't have any plans today. We are going to be getting more snow this afternoon, unfortunately, but that is just a great excuse for me to do some more reading. So I plan to curl up and do that, and I will report back with another update probably once I finish the story. Hello. As you just saw, I just finished my first read of the vlog, and I absolutely love this book. It was a 5-star for me, hands down, no questions. There was so much that I liked about this book. I actually can't think of a single thing that I would change. The romance between the two main characters, Soledad, the FMC, and Judah, the MMC, was such a slow burn, full of yearning, and I absolutely loved that. We didn't get a kiss until about 60% of the way through the book. So if you like a slow burn, yearning romance, this just might be for you. I also loved so much about this book. The female main character was dealt a really crappy hand when it came to who she was married to. In part 2, where I left you off, when I last recorded, we see her 8 months after she finds out the true colors of her now ex-husband, and she's left to pick up the pieces with her 3 daughters. And she has always been a stay-at-home mom, and now she needs to figure out how to provide for all of them, to be able to pay for their private school tuition, to pay the mortgage, to pay for all their activities. So she comes up with some really creative ways. I won't spoil that, but she puts her unique talents to great use, and I just love seeing a strong female main character who is able to turn around a really crappy situation. I also really loved the MMC Judah. He is now probably one of my top 5 book boyfriends. I can relate to him so much. He is the parent of twin boys with autism. And as you know, my daughter is on the autism spectrum, and this book shared some unique perspectives into his life as a single dad trying to care for these 2 boys with varying needs. There was one particular scene where his level 3 autistic son, Aaron, got in his mind that he really wanted this cube toy, and he was really set on it, kind of obsessing about it. And when they got to the store, they had already sold out, and a huge meltdown ensued because an autistic person often is very rigid in their thinking and will perseverate on things. and he just could not calm down, and there were so many stares being thrown at his son, and I've definitely been there and I felt his pain, but he handled it so well, and it was just so nice to see that I'm not alone in what I'm going through and really felt seen. The found family in this book is also absolutely beautiful. Soledad's two best friends, Yaz, who was the female main character in the first book, and Hendrix, who we will see in the next book, really come to her aid to not only assist her financially when she needs it, but to help her with her new business endeavors, to help her with her kids now that she is trying to do it all as a single mom. And I just love a strong female friendship. The conflict and the third act breakup in this book was warranted. The two main characters were at different places and wanted different things, and Judah was really good at expressing what he wanted from Soledad, and then it was up to her to decide what she wanted to do. And I absolutely love the outcome. I love the second chance at life and love that Soledad was given, and I really recommend this second book in the series. The first book I also enjoyed. I gave 4 stars, but there were some things that I did not enjoy about it. But this, like I said, I can't think of a single thing I would change. 5 stars, and I can't wait to read Hendrix's book. So I think I've decided that I want to read one more book in this vlog continuing series I'm in the middle of. And I have not yet read a historical fiction in 2026. So I think I'm going to pick up a book from the Women of War series. The next book in the series, book 2, is The Midwife of Berlin. As I mentioned, in January of 2025, I read The Midwife of Auschwitz, and it was such a unique perspective on what women, specifically pregnant women in concentration camps, had to go through, and the midwives that were forced to do some pretty atrocious things to the women and the babies. So I'm assuming that this is going to be just as heart-wrenching, but I'm excited to switch it up, read something a little different, and I will report back once I have an update. Hello, it has been well over a week since I last popped on to give you a reading update. My family and I got so sick with flu B. I have never been that sick in my entire life. I actually ended up falling in the shower due to low blood pressure and dehydration, and had to get rushed to the hospital by ambulance. So finally I am feeling better. Apologies if my voice still sounds a little rough. I still have a cough, but I wanted to pop on because it has been so long, and I did want to wrap up this vlog. I am about 60% of the way through The Midwife of Berlin, and so far I am really enjoying it. We are following 3 main characters. The first character, Esther, we saw in the first book, The Midwife of Auschwitz. She was forced to deliver her baby, and that baby was taken and given to a German family. She, however, was able to tattoo her number in her armpit in hopes that she would be able to be reunited with her later in the future. So then we are also following Kirsten, aka Pippa, this young baby that was given away to a German family. And then we are also following Olivia, who was an Auschwitz baby but was adopted by Esther. So we are seeing 3 unique perspectives. I just finished
part 1 earlier today, walking on the treadmill. And now things are starting to come to a head in Berlin. A wall is being built. So if you know anything about history, you know what's to follow. And I'm really enjoying it. And I hope to finish it and give you my final thoughts to wrap up this continuing series I'm in the middle of vlog.
Hello, I'm back after a few days and I'm here to officially close out this vlog and give you my final thoughts on The Midwife of Berlin. Overall, I really enjoyed this second book in the series. The first book I gave a 4.5 stars. I absolutely loved it. This one I did not enjoy as much. I ended up settling on a 3.75 stars. It was a really unique perspective on a World War II historical fiction. So often I have read many stories about what the Jewish people went through during the Nazi concentration camps, but have I read something about what happened after the war, specifically in Berlin, and when the Berlin Wall was built. So I learned a lot. I really enjoyed the 3 perspectives that this story was told from. I do, however, wish there was more of a focus on the women's stories and not so much about the historical jargon. I don't know if it's just because I'm not super well versed in this time period, but a few times I felt lost about what was going on. But overall, the themes of hope and the love of a family, whether that's genetic or found family, all carried through. And I loved how the epilogue wrapped up the story so nicely. And I will definitely continue the Women of War series. I believe now I have 2 books left in that series. I hope you've enjoyed this continuing series I'm in the middle of vlog. It was really interesting to see the number of series that I am in. And let me know how many series you are currently reading. Do you have even more than 14 that you're trying to get through, or am I crazy and have way more than you do? Let me know what series you're currently enjoying, and even, dare I say, let me know if there's any new series that aren't on my list that I should add to my tracker. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I really would appreciate your continued support. And until the next video, happy reading. Bye.